Hi, it's Miles Red Songbird, Miles Red Bird Song in New York City. I want to read to you from Tony Robbins, who was Abraham Lincoln in a previous life, Eve's husband, when she was Mary Todd Lincoln. I want to read to you from his book, Tony Robbins' book, Money, Master the Game. It says here, certainty is the first human need that influences our behavior or actions. Okay, so if you have failed to act in your financial life, in your career, in your family, in any way, it's because you are not certain of what to do. And the way to become certain of what to do is to think it through. Okay, ask yourself questions about it. What happens if I do this? What happens if I do that? What do I want? That's the most important question in the world. What do I want? And write. I suggest you do it by writing because things are revealed to you that way. Okay, let's continue part 2 of The Universe Evens the Score with Gary Byrd to balance her karma. Okay, let's start here. This is part 2 of it. Charan Singh was Jesus Christ of the 20th century, has been training Gary Byrd, because Gary Byrd is his disciple, to be a father, having him clean shitty diapers, take care of a helpless soul. So Miles Red, Eve Mary Einstein, Jesus Christ's wife, Charan Singh disciple, same as Gary Byrd is, told Gary her story. Maybe you could help me with these babies, because she has twins in her womb, and one of them is Charan Singh, Gary's master. Gary ignored her dignified plea for help. She lives in SRO on Social Security retirement income, so she has no extra money. She can barely feed herself, even though she has $100 a month, $112 a month in food stamps. So he ignored her dignified plea for help. Her clues that this is your final test, Gary. Have you become humbled, Herod, Gary Byrd, who can now be forgiven if he's been meditating, as he was instructed to do by Charan Singh, his master, Jesus Christ, sticking to the Satmat principles, which are no sex outside of wedlock, no meat, no fish, no eggs, nor anything containing their essence. Gary would not accept his mother Eve in a past life ticket to heaven. She's the reason he's on the path of Jesus Christ disguised as Charan Singh. Okay, Herod, you win. You have no love, no faith in the woman who was qualified to be your savior and forgive your sins, your mother. Eve, the Michelle Byrd song. Goodbye, Gary Byrd, your son. And soul will go wandering body to body for eternity. You wouldn't come home to heaven on earth. So that is the fate of Gary Byrd and his son Solomon in California. So on to the next topic. In California, people rise by sucking up to those who are higher, not because they admire the person, but because they admire his power or her power to have other people do as they tell them to do, whether it's to play Harvey Weinstein, mother, and watch him shower, the counterpart to the event of my husband, Michael John Spear, Frank Lloyd Wright, I am frank and honest as I write the Lord my hopes, as he spoke to me and said that was exactly what I should do now that I've won him over. When my husband Michael John Spear was 7 years old, he was ill with a fever. Feel Eve energy, her. She's been doing a slow burn since the garden time when she came down to the level of the earth, ear, the heart, E-A-R-T-H. The same letters that spell the word earth spells the word heart. So she came down to earth on a mission of mercy to join the screaming entity in his misery, to lessen his misery. It's easier for two to carry the load than one. Two decoded, true double, breasts, see these are hanging breasts, breasts, mother, Miles Red ordered. Okay. Miles Red was ordered to the earth to help the screaming entity who was Adam, screaming because he had self-created and was alone on the earth and freaked out being alone. And so her sympathy ordered her to come and help him. When she got here, she found a gorilla, an ape gorilla. God ordered her, I-sex, will, at a mom at Miles Red ordered. Mom, Miles Red, Michelle orders Minnow. So these are the same, this is the same energy in the body of Miles Red, Michelle. The gorilla Adam beat her when she came here to help him, kicked her, haunted her from then to now, setting her on fire. He sets her on fire now to his messages on air and songs. He's now learned how to be nice, to have empathy. Adam's a man. Adam's a human now. His name is Michael Bublé. Eve's name is the Michelle Byrd song. Okay, that's not common information unless you've been watching my videos. For millions of years, Eve sucked up to people. Her mother told her she had no right to be in her womb. Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger founder, took Minnow's mother's point of view. So they started killing babies in the womb, saying you have no right to be in this womb if your mother doesn't want you in this womb. This was the origin of that way of thinking. Plus, Minnow's mother told her people are poor because they have too many babies. The result of Eve's, and most of the babies being killed by Planned Parenthood are black and poor, from poor women. The result of Eve's mother seeing one colored lady who kept having baby after baby after baby by Bernie Jenkins. He never married her, Miss Newt, and he didn't take care of the kids. Kids ID. Suspect. If the parents aren't married, the best bet yet. The kid's ID is suspect if the parents aren't married, the best bet, yeah, because the kid could be anybody's. Just like I pointed out in the Edwin Birdsong family, one of those kids don't look like him. So, in no way. She doesn't look like the other kids either. So, he wasn't married to her mother. So, she could be anybody's kid. My white husband's white mother had gotten pregnant during a one-night stand. St. Anthony, my husband, did the same thing. He didn't always marry the father of her babies. No, my daughter, my husband and our daughter did the same thing. She didn't always marry the father of her babies. His mother made him marry his mother, Priscilla. You get that? My husband's mother-in-law made her son marry his mother, Priscilla. Priscilla couldn't stand the sight of her son, Michael John Spear, because his face reminded her of the night she let a man pin his penis into her hole, a move of letting a stranger dig for gold in your minefield. He hurt her feelings when after the wedding ceremony he left town, never to be seen or heard from again by them. In the shower, the little boy, too weak to stand on his own 2 feet on wobbly legs, was seated with an eyeful of her bush. Get this, the mother was in the shower with the little boy. That's my husband's mother was in the shower with him when he was 7 years old. He thought her bush ugly. It frightened him. 1960s black afros look like giant bushes. Moses got the 10 Commandments, the list of the do-nots from the burning bush. Knots, kinky hair, Kentucky sky. CKY, Kentucky sky. Yes, was the key to this catastrophe. The mother should have said no. Nancy Reagan said, just say no to drugs, to unwed illicit sex. To get to die for real, you have to say no to sex outside of wedlock. To get to stay in heaven on the earth, that's talk and share. The same deal. In other words, if you want to die for real, you have to be moral. You have to be married to have sex. And if you want to stay on the earth and heaven, you also have to be moral. No sex outside of wedlock. The only other place to go is to the animal kingdom, where it's legal to fuck any hole you see. You don't have to be disciplined. You don't have to think before you fuck. Think before you suck up. Think before you shoot a buck. Think before you eat a cow's butt. Edwin Birdsong did not eat meat, though he ate fish and eggs. Albert Einstein was a vegetarian. Gurinder Singh, Jesus Christ projection, Sir Paul McCartney, and Bryan Adams are vegans. Gurinder Singh has been a lacto-vegetarian all his life. No meat, no fish, no eggs, nor anything containing their essence. Charan Singh projection, the Michelle Birdsong and Edwin Birdsong's son, Singh Birdsong, was a lacto-vegetarian most of his life. No meat, no fish, no eggs, nor anything containing their essence. Then he became a vegan. Then he became raw. Now, with his reason for living, his father gone, he's rethinking not eating meat. This is what happens if you don't think through your behavior and satisfy your intellect before embarking on a course of action. You won't, or you may not, stay the course. You have to read books, refrain from drugs of any kind, mind-altering drinks, drugs such as alcohol, And you have to be on the lacto-vegetarian diet for months before you're accepted into the application process for getting the master to stand ransom for you to leave creation as an individual. In other words, to die for real. Your death, leaving your body is not dying. Leaving your body is transitioning to go to be judged and then to get another body. Okay, so your debts, if you want to really die, your debts have to be paid off before you're allowed to escape the life cycles of births and deaths. Sometimes the master takes some of his disciples' bad, painful karma on himself, or in the case of Mirabai, on herself. The poet, saint, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Mirabai herself, the poet, saint. The master won't accept you on the path if you have too much karma, if it can't be paid off in 4 lifetimes. Meditation burns off a lot of the karma. Sitting still, stilling the mind, letting the sound pull you out of your body, dying, while living to go forward up into the spiritual planes. Spiritual planes. Pre-sent will Adam enter Eve's source scene. See conscious Eve enter energy source. So our course of consciousness energy. See, Eve is our source of consciousness energy. And 5G is trying to have your source of conscious energy be an AI, an artificial intelligence, a computer. So you won't be alive as an individual. And you won't be at peace like you would be in the ocean of bliss were it still to exist, which it does not. So that's unbelievable hell. That is what they mean when us, Adam and Eve, go, US goes. No. That is what they mean where us go, Adam and Eve, the US goes. If Eve decides to die, not leave her body and into the births and deaths, transferring energy to different bodies with each new birth, but if Eve decides to merge back into the ocean of light, losing her individuality, then all of you would have to lose your individuality because you are sucking off of Eve's energy. So where her energy goes, so goes yours. The 5G project is setting up a connecting of your consciousness decoded, conscience, IOU, us, Adam and Eve, US, enter energy, supreme sun, death, supreme sacrifice, death. Death in the 5G project is playing God instead of letting go, instead of letting you be at peace, feeling bliss in the ocean of bliss for eternity. See, the ocean of bliss has been locked off from you by Govinda Singh, so this option doesn't exist anymore. G5, is it G5 or 5G? 5G want to pump feelings and states of minds into you by turning on the frequencies of the state. Example, if they want people to riot so they can shoot them, they send you and others the riot stimuli frequency and not really knowing why because by then you would have lost your mind. I don't know what the rest of it is. You riot, okay? You don't know why they're rioting. They're rioting. They're still working, yeah. Okay.